Let me start off by saying, first of all, how humbled and very, very grateful I am to be a part of this group. It just, I mean, obviously, I'm getting emotional right now. Is very inspiring to me, and it's hard for me to put into words what this means to me. And that's why they keep picking me to come do these things. But I'm very passionate about Relay, and they gave me an opportunity to speak at Nationals, and they asked me to speak for 7 minutes. I ended up speaking for 15. So when they gave me 15 minutes here, I wanted to make sure I made the most of it, so I got my notes together. And I wouldn't do that to you on purpose. I actually only have one page here, so we'll be okay. Let me share my story with you, and then we'll go from there. My sophomore year in high school, college at the University of Oklahoma. Boomer. Oh, yeah. My sophomore year at school, I began having some medical problems, and I didn't really think anything about it. I actually have a long line of bizarre sports injuries. I broke my jaw in a soccer game. I dislocated my shoulder several times, once playing spoons, which is a card game. So I've had a couple of injuries over the few years of my life, and I started having some really bad back pain, and I even had to cancel an event when I went home for Christmas because I couldn't walk around the mall. So I started having some troubles, but I thought, no big deal, I'll be fine, because I was 20 years old and invincible college male, so it was no worries. By the time I went home for spring break, I was actually limping, and my parents asked me, why are you walking with a limp? And it had progressed so much and so slowly that I hadn't even realized that. So here I was limping. And then by the time finals rolled around and I was getting ready to come home, I would go to get into my truck, and I couldn't lift my leg up into my truck of my own accord. I had to reach down and pull my leg up into my truck. So even at that point, I was like, wow, we probably need to go get this checked out. I go home, I go to my sports doctor, and he's kind of a big guy. And he sits down across from me. He says, Wade, I don't think I'm going to be able to coach you through this one. And I was like, whoa, I mean, we've been through a lot together. He said, no, this one's out of my league. I've made an appointment for you. I want you to go talk to this oncologist. Whoa. So we go and talk to this woman, and she's an incredible woman. She's extremely, extremely intelligent, very well-renowned, leader in the field. But she did this thing where she talks with her eyes closed. And it was kind of weird. So here I am. I'm sitting in this office, oncologist office. I know what this means. And this woman's just sitting here talking away, and she starts naming off all these different potential cancers, and she never even had the decency to say, Wade, you have cancer. It was kind of crazy. But this whole time we're going through this, all I'm thinking is her eyes are closed. So it was strange, but we got past that eventually, and we started, we got past it. So I was actually very, very blessed. I started my treatment at Cook Children's over in Fort Worth, not that far from here. And we hit it really hard, we hit it really fast. Interesting thing, I'm not a child. I'm in this children's hospital. So I was that awkward old guy that was always walking around everywhere. And, it was weird, but it was also very humbling being on a children's wing on the cancer floor. There was a plus side, though. Cook Children's is just down the road from Texas Christian University and their nursing program. So but I was very fortunate, very skilled nurses. But we hit treatment really hard. We hit it really fast, and it was a game changer. This was actually me before cancer. If we'll go and put that, okay, that's okay. There it is. This was actually taken a week before my treatment. I had no idea. I was getting a good Facebook pic, and I had no idea. And then I get diagnosed, and we get on treatment. And like I said, we hit it pretty hard and pretty fast. And this is what happens when you do that. Things get kind of rough. And OU hat in the corner there, got a rep. So things get kind of rough, and we get to this point. This drug is called methotrexate, And for whatever reason, it just is really extremely hard on me. Very, very, very hard. And all those terrible things you hear about chemotherapy, this guy rocked my world. I went through it all with this dude. But it was really, really bad. And I got put on social isolation, which I had a hard time with that. And things were really hard. But, by the grace of God and the mercies of science, it worked. And I actually was able to go from a stage 3 diagnosis in June to being back on campus at OU in January. And that's pretty awesome. So, and then y'all can drop that slide if you want to. I get back on campus, and I'd actually done a relay event my freshman year, and someone had asked me to participate, but I didn't really get the full meaning of it, but I remembered it. And I get back on campus, and I want to get involved, so I get in contact with my staff partner. I actually get 3 teams. My Delta Sigma Pi is professional business fraternity, and I'm a member of, and I go to them, and I said, I really want to do relay. Will anybody do it with me? We ended up forming 3 teams our first year and became the second largest fundraising group on campus. And then I spoke at a team captain's meeting, and my staff partner, Mel, which is over here somewhere, I actually can't see any of y'all, but I think she's over here. She said, will you come speak at our Fight Back ceremony? So I did. And then she actually invited me, kind of tricked me to come down to this summit last fall. And I ended up winning, or y'all chose to acknowledge me for the Spirit of Relay award last year. And that gave me an opportunity to come up and, thank you. That gave me the opportunity to come up here and speak, very similarly to what I'm doing right now. And after that, I was done speaking, a woman came up to me, and if she's here, please come up to me again, because you have changed a lot in my life. But she came up to me, and I had that relay aha moment. She comes up, and she looks me in the eye, and she says, Wade, I know you have no idea who I am, but I want to tell you something. 20 years ago, my father was diagnosed with the exact same cancer as you, and we had to watch it slowly consume him and eventually take him from us. And it was extremely humbling, and I didn't really know how to respond to that at first, because here I am, up on stage being acknowledged for being alive, and this woman comes up to me and tells me that her father had died from our same disease. But what that did tell me, and when I really started to think about it, is wow, 20 years ago, that was a death sentence. And here I am, alive. So when I was born, our cancer was a death sentence. And by the time I was diagnosed, we developed enough research, we'd done enough work that not only was I alive, but I was actually doing really well. And I'd been able to go back to campus and able to return to a normal life. That was huge. And I knew at that moment, I can't just be a survivor. I can't just be a survivor. There's way too much to be done. I have to do more. We have to do more. There has to be more to do. So just to kind of drive that point home, just so you really appreciate that, because of things like Relay, because of people like you, you are the reason I'm up here right now and not in the ground in Bridgeport, Texas, where all of my family members are buried. It's because people like you have decided over the years that it is not okay that we're losing so many people to cancer. It is not okay. So you're doing something about it. And for that, I am extremely thankful, because I wouldn't be alive without that. And I'm extremely grateful to be a part of that movement. So let's do a little recap. Relay takes moments like these: a stage 3 cancer, if y'all can throw that, a stage 3 cancer, illness, weakness, frustration, depression, and Relay turns them into moments like these. Turns them into 3 new teams fighting cancer. Turns them into incredible friendships, victories, joy, amazing, amazing friendships. This is Joshua West, who's one of the co-chairs at OSU, and we became friends through cancer, through Relay. And we're very, very close, and I really miss him, and I wish I got to see him more, but he's at that other school in Oklahoma, and it makes it difficult. But I tell you, it's a test to the friendships and the bonds that you have in Relay. I actually shared my Facebook profile pic with a cowboy. But it turns those moments into those. Relay creates the opportunities for very good moments. She's not a nurse, actually. I was branching out there. So that's how it is. You can drop that. I've got it. Don't worry. So let's go in a little bit different direction now. American Cancer Society, Relay for Life, takes lives, saves lives, transforms them. I'm going to throw you off. Okay, this was me before cancer right here. We're putting it back up right now. There you go. This is me before cancer, and this is what, very similar to the picture you saw earlier, this is what happens when you get involved with Relay. So that's me before and after cancer and Relay. So, American Cancer Society and Relay for Life takes lives, transforms them, can do amazing, amazing things. Basic biology of cancer. One cell mutates, becomes out of control, starts to affect everything around it, very negative. Relay for Life, one man has a purpose, starts to reproduce his efforts, begins to grow all around him, becomes something that is incredible, and creates very, very positive change. We cannot be satisfied, though. 2011 was a great year, and we saw some statistics from Rule earlier, and we're going to continue to hear this weekend about all the great things we've done this past year. But more importantly, we have to focus on all the things we still have to do in the next year. We cannot be satisfied with what we've done in 2011 alone. Even with all our work, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women will still ultimately be affected by cancer. And that's too high. That's still too high. So let's talk about some challenges. Milestones. I was diagnosed when I was 20 years old, and all I wanted was to make it to 21 because of things like open bars at Relay. Just kidding. We don't actually endorse that. But no, I was diagnosed at 20, and I was. 21 is a big milestone in your life, and I thought, I just want to be alive at 21. And I was back on campus. ACS has said that the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma still, even with all that we've accomplished, has a 50-50 10-year survival rate. So that first milestone of 21 I reached. That next milestone of 31, flip of a coin. It's 50-50. That's scary. That's hard to live with. Even in everything that I've been able to do and all the hard work that we do, it's still kind of right back here. No matter where I go, 10-year survival rate is still only 50-50. So that brings us back to what we're doing here. We watched that video, $100. Every dollar that you raise is going to this amazing organization that is on the forefront of the fight against this disease, that is on the fight against cancer, that is progressing towards more birthdays, towards a cancer-free world. Every dollar, every time that you go out and you not only fundraise, but you invest in the people in your communities, you invest in the people on your campuses, you teach them how to relay, you teach them how to make the ask, you develop them, you're making an investment into lives of people all over the world. We are the American Cancer Society, we're Relay for Life, but we are at the forefront and we set the tone for the entire world in this effort. When you do those things, you're also making an investment in hope. I can tell you the honest truth that every checkup I go in for, I get absolutely terrified. It's the scariest thing I've ever experienced, and I'm sure it ever will. But what I do is I remember that hope. I remember my relay events, the survivor laps, those being in those communities, my relay teams, being in opportunities like this to be with people all over this country that are fighting this disease, and it gives me hope. And that is something that is unique to this organization and something I absolutely love, and that's why I can always come back and relay. If you want to know why you relay, I'm why you relay. Because even though I'm a survivor, I still only have a 50-50 10-year survival rate. Every time you go out there and you fundraise and you invest yourselves into people, into these relays, into our projects, into our goals, you're relaying so that people like me will have the opportunity to relay again next year. You're relaying so that people that have yet to be diagnosed, 1 in 2, 1 in 3, that's crazy. You relay, and everything that you do is investment into the future, investment in hope, investment in lives for tomorrow, people that have not yet been diagnosed. Not in a cancer-free world, and that's the reality. So that means that people that are being born right now, the people going to be the third generation of relay still have the fact that they're being faced with potential diagnosis as well. So that is why we have to keep up our efforts. We have to keep relaying. We have to keep working as hard as we are and more than we are. I challenge you, go home, raise your expectations of what you can do. Set $100 as a minimum. $100 this is where we start. This is where we start. $100 goes a long way, and it is going to an awesome cause. It's fantastic. But raise your expectations of your relayers. Challenge them to go above and beyond. Every dollar that you raise is a dollar towards life. And I think if we really put that into perspective, we'll be able to really, really grow. So I've been talking a long time, and I've actually exceeded my 1 page of notes. So I'm going to wrap up. My name is Wade Brockway. I am a survivor. I celebrate, I remember, I fight back, I relay. Thank you.